So, so the issue of being present, being attentive and mindful of what's happening in the present moment, is kind of one of the big endeavors of mindfulness practice. And it's a training to do that. One of the kind of analogies that I like for not doing that, not being present, is if you go down to a river with a bucket and you see the river flowing by, a beautiful river, and then you take the bucket and fill it with the water, and then walk away from the river holding up the bucket and say, "Look, I have the river." You don't really have a river anymore. You have a bucket of water. So one of the ways not to be in the present is through retrospective thinking, where we think we were in fact in the present for a moment, for a little bit, and then we start thinking about what just happened. There's a sound of a car outside, and then we start thinking about what kind of car was that? Was it a blue car, a red car, or whatever, Honda, Toyota? Those Toyotas are being recalled. And then we're so involved in those kind of thinking that we don't notice the sound of the next car that goes by, or the next cars go by, or the next moment that arises. And so the present moment is sometimes been referred to as a stream, the stream of the present moment. And then how do we relate to that stream? And the idea is not to pick anything up and hold it in your bucket and then walk away. Now I have it. So especially when you meditate, trying to be in the present moment, you want to be very careful to not get involved in retrospective thinking, where you're thinking back, oh, what just happened now? There's a time in life for that. It's important. But for the purposes of mindfulness, if you start remembering back what happened a second ago or a minute ago and reviewing it, then you're losing the opportunity to connect fully to what's happening now and here. It might be like you've picked up the bucket. And so one of the kind of bumper stickers for that could be for Vipassana students is that the bumper sticker says, "I don't stop for anything." Because the mindfulness doesn't stop. Reality doesn't stop. Life, the stream of change of what life is constantly flowing and moving. And so we don't stop for any of it in terms of thinking about it and reflecting on it, but rather we're fresh for the next moment. Even if you're focusing on one thing, the same event, that event is always shifting and changing. And so you're staying fresh to be able to be present for the next event. But that presence that allows it to be is one that is not so much a trying as it is as a relaxing and letting go. And so that can we let go or relax so that the awareness can be with a changing flow of phenomena, with the changing experiences that happen moment by moment. And an interesting exercise to do that I hope it's interesting and safe to do. I've done this. I found it instructive. Is to practice awareness practice when I'm driving my car, and to notice the difference between have a relaxed awareness of what's happening as I'm driving, versus what it feels like to start thinking about something. And I'm quite capable of thinking about something when I'm driving. And there's a big difference between the two for me. And it seems like I can drive safe enough usually when I'm thinking about something. But I think I'm certainly a safer driver when I'm not thinking about something different than just being driving. But what's interesting is that the quality of the attention of what's happened at the present moment changes. If I'm involved in some story, some thinking, analysis, or something I'm doing in my mind, I'm not so connected fully to what's here. It's not as vivid. It's not as present for it. If I try to focus hard to pay attention to what's happening in the present moment, pay attention to the car in front of me, pay attention to this and that, and it's an active kind of volitional thing, then sometimes it can be a little bit like putting blinders on. And I'm not really, I'm attentive to that thing, but I'm not so aware of the surrounding, what's going on. But if I relax and let go of my thinking, and because I'm driving, at least for me, driving seems to require alertness. So the energy to be alert is there. That sometimes is not there when I'm meditating. So I have to be alert, and so that's being provided. But if I relax and let go of my thinking, then the present moment becomes very full, and the phenomena, the experiences that I experience, shift and change very fast. In fact, if you relax enough but stay alertly attentive, you'll be aware of a lot of different phenomena happening at once. And in fact, the human mind has a tremendous capacity to take in a lot of information all at once, or not all at once, but very quickly. In a couple of seconds, you can take in dozens of different experiences. We don't see it as dozens of different experiences because often the mind constructs it into one unitary thing. So like if I'm looking at a person, I might say, that's the person. That's Rebecca. So took one moment to recognize Rebecca. But in fact, in order to see Rebecca, I see her hair, her body, her qualities, her glasses, all this different stuff. I take it all in. And in that second before I see Rebecca, I'm taking in all that stimulus, all those things. And then the mind takes it all in, and then it constructs a singular thing called Rebecca. If I don't construct Rebecca and stay more in the flow of the stimulus that's happening, at some point, if I'm relaxed enough and alert enough, I'll see there's a lot going on. There's all these different kind of sight impressions that are coming into me, and that's used to construct. And so to have a very relaxed attention, but alert attention in the present moment, allows that stream of experiencing to flow through us, or flow around us, or flow with us. And it's a very different way of experiencing our life if we connect to that immediate lived flow of experience than it is if we start thinking about it. And so one of the ways of interfering with mindfulness practice is to be in the present moment, and then to take the bucket of thinking and pull out something and say, now I have it. I started thinking about, in the moment a thought of what you had for breakfast arises. That can happen. Or what you want to have for dinner, that could happen. But then the mind gets involved in that, dinner. Well, if I have mashed potatoes, then I should probably have string beans with that. If I have string beans with that, probably I should have applesauce. And what would be good to drink with that? And the mind is kind of pulled out of the stream into its bucket, applesauce thought. And then it starts thinking about something. And then you've lost contact with how things are arising and passing and flowing as they go through. What's very interesting, I think, is that very, very important to study is if you have some sense of the difference between being in the stream, being connected to here, versus being thinking about stuff, and how thinking pulls us out of the stream, keeps us a little bit distant from it. What's very interesting is to study the bridge between the two worlds. Not one or the other, but what is the attraction to the world of thinking? What's the pull into it? What are the beliefs that are connected to it? And what is our understanding that we have that might encourage us to stay in the stream? What keeps us from being in the stream? What keeps us in the stream? What keeps us in the world of thinking? Why it's validated so much. And that's why this morning earlier I encouraged curiosity. To be curious in your direct experience. Because most people need some kind of extra oomph to realize that there's other ways of experiencing their life and themselves than they usually do which is often through the filter of all these buckets. And probably, if someone asks you, who are you? Who are you? Not who you are really, but who do you think you are? Probably you should just kind of bring out all your buckets and show them. This is who I think I am, all these buckets. But what happens if you throw the water from the buckets back into the river? So be attentive, be on the lookout for retrospective thinking. And especially when you meditate, see if it's useful for you to follow the bumper sticker that says, I don't stop for anything. It's much more relaxing that way, to do it that way. Because you don't have to make any meaning of things, you don't have to react to things, you just allow things to be as they are. You meet it, see it, recognize it, and let it go. Let it go, let the next things arise, let the next things arise. And it's a very different way of understanding who we are. And in some ways, it offers a very radically different experience of being alive. So much so that some people get disoriented because it's, we're used to a way that we're used to understanding ourselves through concepts and ideas, and to be willingly put. And it's very hard to put those down, but to be able to put those buckets down and be in the stream is a very different experience. And in fact, it's a much safer experience than being in the world of concepts all the time. So hopefully that is useful, and hopefully you can throw some of your buckets back. So thank you.